How many of us love competing? We love competing with people. I remember when I was growing up as a young boy, we will compete in playing football, soccer, we'll compete in athletics. I mean, we wanted to see who is the best in this and this. I mean, it was so much exciting. I mean, I went to primary school, I went to high school, and the same thing was happening. We would compete, run, and I mean, even sometimes we would even make it extreme, like, let's see who is going to answer more questions in class. Let's see who is going to finish the exams fast. But sometimes it was not good because you'd finish very fast and then you find you have not answered some questions, or you answered question wrongly because you're rushing to be among the first people. And so it was really not good. And we all of us compete in one way or another. But what I've noted is that that kind of competition sometimes affect us when we grow up, when we become adults. And when we become adults, it's good for us to know that actually you don't need to compete with anyone. You don't. You don't need to compete with anyone. Stay in your lane and make it happen. And I know, as I share with you, I'm also a victim of the same. You find I want to compete with everyone at work. I want to compete with everyone when I'm driving. I want to compete with everyone when whatever I'm doing. There's that kind of nature of wanting to compete. And sometimes it messes up. You find a friend has bought something, and because you're in that kind of competition, that mode of competition, like the way you used to do it when you're young, you still want to compete. And I'm telling you, that one has really messed many of us. We get out of our budgets. We make decisions that are not right. We buy things that we don't need, and all those things. Yes. Are you one of them? Have you been involved in unnecessary competition? And of course, there's that competition, like just finished Olympic recently, and if you're really an athlete, definitely you have no option. You've got to compete and win. But the sense I'm bringing out is that other sense of competing in life. And all of us, sometimes we are so much in engaged in competing with people. And actually, we are competing in a race that, first of all, we were not invited to participate. We were not enrolled in it. And you're there competing. And even sometimes you compete with people who do not know whether you're competing with them. And I'm calling it unhealthy competition. Let's just avoid being involved in that unhealthy competition, because it really messes you up. It messes me up. Because you should not be involved in such kind of competition, because it is going to mess you up. Because actually, you don't need to compete with anyone. The only competition I think I can encourage you and me is to compete against yourself. Yes, you can compete with yourself. That's what I basically mean. I don't know if that English gets in properly. Yeah, compete with yourself. Just make sure that you're the best, because you're not competing with anyone. Stay in your line and make it happen. Why? Because I'm running a different path. You're running a different path. Like, I mean, I'm here loading this video. I do videos all over. I mean, I've been doing videos, and that is my lane. That's the lane that I'm in. I'm posting these videos, and I'm telling myself I do not want to compete with anyone. I just want to release all this information. I want to encourage people from the Word of God. I want to release this information of my experiences. Yes, so don't compete with anyone, and you don't need to. You don't need to. Just stay focused in your lane and make it happen. Become a blessing to people. Because when you involve yourself in this unnecessary competition, it is going to mess you up. Financially, it's going to mess you up. And many other things I see ourselves being involved in. I mean, you want to build a big house. And I'm not saying that big house is bad. If you have the money, if you're in a position to do that, kindly do that. Do that. But if you're not, don't get out of your budget, because you may find, you know, one thing I've noted is that sometimes we compare ourselves with people and we don't know, we have no details about them. I mean, you see a friend buy a car or they purchase something and you go and purchase, and sometimes you're not even very sure whether it was a gift, whether it was a gift from a friend, from the husband, from the wife, or a gift from grandfather and all those, because all of us, we come from different backgrounds. There are people in this world who do not have to hustle like you and me or any other person, simply because there were some things that were set. Like if you had a family that was rich, you did not begin where others were beginning. And that is the truth. There are people actually who don't struggle. You're struggling with fees, and there's someone there who actually, that fees was saved by a grandmother somewhere, grandfather somewhere. There were some good foundations that were laid for finances. But for you, you are struggling. I'm struggling. And so you are there competing with this person. You'll never win. You will never win. It's going to be a big challenge. And I'm not trying to say that we should not aim high. We should. But I'm trying to discourage us from what I'm calling unnecessary competition. Stay in your line, continue working hard, and I believe there's someone who's going to admire you and even feel like I would want to be like so and so. Because I've noticed sometimes it messes us up. Don't purchase what you don't need. Don't engage yourself in a deal that you're not ready for it. You don't need that deal. You don't need to go to that school or to go to that training. Just make a decision and say, I'm going to do this and this because I need it. Have a stand. Have a stand. I mean, have a stand. Don't just be there. I mean, someone just comes and tells you, let's go to this place, and then you say, let's go. Tell them you are busy, possibly next time. Yes. So it's good for you to have a plan. Don't compete with anyone. You don't need to compete with anyone. Just run your race. Yes. Don't compete with anyone. Don't compete with it. Let's avoid it. And if you are competing, just calm down. Yes. Allow the athletics, the people involved in games and soccer, football, they definitely have to compete. That one is okay. But this other one, we are competing with people. I mean, it's going to mess us up. Thank you, guys.